Welcome to Sociology Vibes, where we simplify challenging ideas into easy to understand insights. Today, our focus is on the sociological explanations of internalized racism and internalized oppression. Internalized racism is a term used when people of a marginalized and racialized group unconsciously learn and accept negative stereotypes, beliefs, and ideologies socially created by the dominant culture in society. It happens when institutional and systemic racism at the societal level becomes so pervasive that individuals begin to believe those ideas about themselves or others of their same race or ethnicity. Feelings and thoughts associated with inferiority, colorism, or giving preference to lighter skin tones and whiteness, or distancing themselves from their cultural identity are a few examples. Internalized racism is one form of internalized oppression. Internalized oppression is a term used to describe members of any marginalized or minority group, not just race or ethnicity. For example, gender, class, sexuality, and disability, begin to believe and act on the negative dominant group messages that perpetuate social inequalities. It involves a process of observing external social conditions that become internalized as psychological and behavioral patterns. Internalized racism is specifically about race and ethnicity. It describes some people of color taking racist ideas, believing, for example, that white beauty standards are superior, that their culture is less valuable, or that they must act less quote-unquote ethnic to succeed. So in short, internalized oppression is the process of observing society's prejudice towards one's own group, and internalized racism involves the same process applied to racial hierarchy and white supremacy. Internalized racism is part of how oppression maintains itself. When the dominant group's values are seen as normal or better, the targeted group may internalize those standards, leading to self-blame, division within the group, and lowered self-esteem and self-worth. Internalized racism and oppression reveal the power of negative messages, stereotypes, and prejudicial beliefs that are perpetuated throughout society at large, even when done so in subtle ways. In a landmark experiment during the 1940s, psychologists Kenneth and Mamie Clark showed Black children two dolls, one white doll and one black doll. They asked the children which doll they preferred. Most chose the white doll and described it as good, pretty, revealing how racism and segregation shaped self-image. This study was used as part of the evidence in the Supreme Court case Brown v. Board of Education to show that segregation caused Black children to internalize feelings of inferiority. Let's explore a few examples of internalized racism. Education. A student of color might believe they're not as smart as their white peers and avoid AP classes or stay silent during class discussions. Beauty standards. Believing lighter skin, straighter hair, or certain facial features are more attractive or professional. Language. Feeling embarrassed about speaking with an accent or preferring not to use one's native language in public. Cultural distancing. Avoiding traditions, baby names, or cultural expressions to fit into dominant white norms. Acceptance of stereotypes. Believing myths about one's own racial or ethnic group, such as being less intelligent, lazier, or too emotional. Now let's explore a few examples of internalized oppression. Gender. Girls might avoid science or technology fields because they have learned that those are for boys. Women believing they are naturally worse at leadership than men or apologizing for being assertive. Social class. People from working class backgrounds feeling ashamed of their occupations, views, or education. First-generation college students might believe that college is not for them. Sexuality. LGBTQ+ individuals believing that heterosexuality is more normal or moral. Disability. Person with a disability feeling like a burden or believing they must hide their needs to be accepted. Age. Older adults believing they're no longer valuable or capable of learning new skills. These examples reflect how social hierarchies, stereotypes, and ideologies become internalized as self-judgment or self-limitation, keeping systems of inequality in place. They demonstrate how the social structure reproduces inequality. Schools, media, and workplaces reinforce cultural messages about who's competent, deserving, or even normal. Over time, people internalize those messages, often policing themselves in ways that maintain the very social hierarchies that limit them. Studying concepts like internalized racism and internalized oppression is important because they reveal how social inequality is perpetuated, not just through laws or institutions, but through the thoughts, emotions, and behaviors of individuals living in those social societal systems. When people recognize that feelings of inferiority or self-doubt are socially produced and not personal flaws, it reduces shame. It helps redirect attention from what's wrong with me to what social messages shaped this belief. Social change starts with awareness. Once internalized beliefs are seen as learned patterns, they can be questioned, unlearned, and replaced with affirming, empowering perspectives and practices. And this makes sociology worth exploring further, don't you think? Thank you for watching. Be sure to comment below with your thoughts, questions, or any topics you'd like us to explore next. Let's keep the conversation going and our community growing. See you in the next Sociology Vibes video.